Hello everyone, I hope you've had a great day so far and that you're doing well. For this video we'll be going through an unboxing of the high grade 12144 Load Astray Omega, and this particular kit is, I believe, out of the Gundam Seed Astray type of subline, and this was released by Bandai back in 2022, which is probably incorrect to say because 2022 is the current year when this was recorded anyway. So I've had this recently come through to me, so I thought I would crack on with the unboxing. Now when I first found out about this kit, I actually thought it was going to be a variation out of the, I feel like I was going to say Battle Log. Yeah, I thought this was actually part of Battle Log, some of that stuff. So I'm actually a bit surprised that it's actually more aligned to the general Gundam Seed Astray line, as opposed to being some of the recent stuff with Battle Log and or Build Divers and things like that. Anyway, here we have the front of the box, and you've probably caught on that it is in that nice monochromatic color, which basically means yes, this is a P Bandai, so the box will be pretty bland from this point in. So it's still a nice shot of the Load Astray on the front and a bit of a posed shot right behind it. In terms of colors, we'll get a better look once we see inside the box. Otherwise, the rest of the box pretty much just has that emblazoned all over the place. So that's pretty much a look of the P Bandai box. One of the joys of P Bandai. In terms of inside the box, we have how many runners? Well, how many bags? 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of runners and a very standard P Bandai manual. Now I do expect some of this kit to be a bit of a recycle of some of the recent Astray type kits, so, and that is why I thought it was out of Build Divers and things like that, but we'll see in a minute how some of that rinse and repeat goes. So I'll open up these bags and then we can have a better look at what the Load Astray is all about. And with everything now out of the box, so we do have an okay amount of runners to look at. Interestingly enough, there will be no A runner. Now given that this is pretty much a P Bandai type kit, I guess we can go straight to the runner list. So the runners actually start at B, and we do tend to have 1s and 2s, or 3s and 4s. Either way, there'll be 2 of each runner pretty much. So 2 Bs, 2 Cs, 2 Ds, 2 Es, 2 Fs, some polycaps, and 2 different types of stickers. So that's pretty much the parts list. In terms of the manual, that's pretty much all it. It's not one of those fancy manuals where you get to see things. In terms of the build, starting with the body, which is pretty much where we usually start, go through the head build, build the arms, and there is pretty much a ×2 with this. I suspect it will become a left and a right later down the track. In fact, yes, after you've done your ×2, pretty much configure one as the right arm, configure the other as the left arm. There will be some stickers along the way, which isn't too surprising, but that's okay. Put all that together, build 2 sets of feet first, and then we actually do a right leg and a left leg. Definitely some stickers making themselves known once again. Building of the waists, still some stickers, but then it's an Astray, so it's not uncommon to have color correcting stickers. And then put that all together, and then lastly the weapons, which it actually looks like it has some very interesting weapon inclusions. So I don't need that. So that's building some of the weapons, the large swords, question mark, large sword state, twin sword state, Snake Sword State. Don't say that 10 times fast. Looks like there might be a bit of a universal connector between them, which is fine. Then it looks like there might be some different modes you can use them in, and then you can attach some of that to a backpack, which is pretty cool. And then we have some quick shots of some of the transfer stickers as well. So that was the fairly simplistic look at the manual. In terms of the stickers, we do get the two. So our usual foil stickers, if I can get them to... There we go. Usual foil stickers. So there will be a fair few, but I think half of that is color correcting, the rest are for some degree of detailing, eyes, camera lenses, things like that. So that is that. In terms of the other sticker sheet, which is basically some of the interesting transfers, not too bad looking. Be interesting to see how well they turn out, because I suspect, especially with 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're not completely solid, so they could have some of that weird sticker retransitioning on the plastic wherever they may sit. But that's that second sticker sheet. Now, as for the runners, B3 and B4, both in black. B4 is pretty much a carbon copy of the bottom half of B3. Now there is a missing piece here only because it has fallen off, but it is part of the waist build. That's not too bad. Can't tell if this is unique to this kit or not. One, because I can't read Japanese, but given that this was probably printed back in 2020, it's probably safe to assume this is a copy from a previous kit. So that was the two Bs. We have two Cs, C3 and C4. C4 is a carbon copy of C3, well, bits of C3, probably bits of the, I dare say, feet, legs, and maybe arms. Both of these runners are in white. So for the rest of C3, well, this will definitely be probably the waist and the main torso. Being an Astray, there is definitely a good amount of detailing on them. That's pretty cool. I'm assuming this came from the exact same set, so this is probably another 2020 print, which is okay. That's the two C's, the two D's, except this time we're going back to D1 and D2, except D2 is a carbon copy of probably 3/4 of D1. Now both of these runners are in a bit of a light grey, so most of that being copies will probably be arm joints, leg joints, and things like that. And then for the rest, say this is part of the torso, probably the neck, and I think these are probably part of the shoulders. So that's D1 and D2, as I mentioned, both in grey. As for E1 and E2, now E2 is a copy of a good chunk of E1. Now both E1 and E2 are actually multicolor runners. So now that we know E2 is effectively a carbon copy, so looking at the whole of a E1, so we have red, a darker red, so a bit more like a crimson type red, the grey, more grey, and bits of white at the bottom. So we know the stuff in the middle will most likely be part of the weapons, the rest possibly arms. And then detailing, I'd imagine, bits of the head and things like that. So that's not too bad. So that's E1 and E2. And in fact, I feel this red is somewhat metallic. Might not actually show up on the camera very well, but it just seems to have this weird slight metallic sheen on it that the others don't have. So that's E1 and E2. Now we have F1 and F2, which are actually not copies, so I'll probably start off with F1 to begin with. F1 is in black. We do have some larger pieces, probably a combination of weapons, backpack. That's definitely the V-fin, and all sorts of bits and pieces. So that is F1. F2, which is a bit small, not a lot smaller. It's just part of that weapon effect, and it does seem to feel somewhat rubbery as well. I wonder when this was first made, 2021. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this was from... I can't remember the name of the kit. It's out of IBO. It'll be one of the tail end kits. So I'm sure someone will give me the name in the comments. But that's F2, which is also in black. And then lastly, PC002 polycaps in grey. Pretty standard. So that brings us to an end of the unboxing of the Astray Omega 12144 high grade kit. Should definitely be a very fun build. I'm hoping that it's not too bad in the way of the detailing, because it is still an Astray. And because it's also a white kit as well, it does mean that usually it needs a little bit more work panel lining wise, but I guess I will find out in due time. Thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link below. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in the next video.